Good morning students, this is Mercy Mani, lecturer in botany, SRS PU College, Chitradurga. Today I am going to start a new chapter from 2nd PU syllabus, that is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. That means sexual reproduction takes place in angiospermic plants, or we can say angiosperms. So here we will be dealing with the sexual reproduction in angiospermic plants. Before this chapter, you have learnt one more chapter, that is reproduction in organisms. So in that chapter, you learnt different types of reproduction methods in various organisms, that is sexual reproduction as well as asexual reproduction in various organisms. But in this chapter particularly, we will be dealing with the sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Students, this is one of the important chapter, and from this chapter you will get two questions, or two questions, or sometimes you may get three questions also, and surely you will get 8 marks from this chapter. Now, in this chapter, first we will understand what are the points we are going to learn from this chapter. See here, the points what we learn from this chapter are: the first one, pre-fertilization structures and events. Next point, pollination. Third point, pollen pistil interaction. Fourth point, double fertilization. Fifth point, post fertilization structures and events. And the last point, apomixis and polyembryony. Okay, so once again I'll repeat what are the points we will understand in this chapter. That is pre-fertilization structures and events, pollination, pollen pistil interaction, double fertilization, post-fertilization structures and events, apomixis and polyembryony. So here mainly you will understand the structure and the morphology and the process of fertilization takes place in flowering plants. Okay, we'll see what is the important structure to perform sexual reproduction. So what are the important sites for the sexual reproduction? Flowers. Flowers are the main sites, or the sites of sexual reproduction. So we will say flowers are morphological and embryological marvels and sites of sexual reproduction. To a botanist, flowers are morphological, embryological marvels, marvelous structures and site of sexual reproduction. Look here, we will see the flowers. We will give the definition for the flower. Flowers are modified condensed shoot with limited growth. So what are flowers? Flowers are the modified condensed shoot or branch with limited growth. On this modified condensed shoot, there are many modified floral leaves. So what? On the modified condensed shoot with limited growth, there are modified floral leaves are present in different whorls. We will see the structure of the flower later. Now one more important point here, how a plant initiate flowering. How a plant initiate flowering. Actually the plant has a vegetative parts and sexual parts. So what are the vegetative parts of the plant? There are roots, stem, branches, leaves. All these are called as vegetative parts of the plant. And especially the flowers are called as the sexual parts of the plant. Now what I told you, a stem or branch is modified to form floral leaves. How it is possible? Before flowering, there are many structural and hormonal changes takes place in the plant. So what's going on in the plant? Here what happens to the plant? There are several structural and hormonal. Remember this word, this point, structural and hormonal changes takes place in the plant. These structural and hormonal changes initiate the flowering in the plants. That means differentiation of the tissue, the normal tissue into floral tissue. See, remember, this is important point. What is the reason to produce or to develop the flowers by the plant? Here there are several structural and hormonal changes takes place in the plant, and these changes initiate the differentiation in the plant to produce or to develop flowers in the plant. Okay, now we will see the structure. We will understand. Let us understand the structure of the flower. Already you learned about the structure of the flower in the morphology chapter. Of course, once again I'll show the diagram with the floral parts. Okay, students, tell me answer. What is the site of sexual reproduction in flowering plants? The site of sexual reproduction in flowering plants is flower. The site of sexual reproduction in flowering plants is flower. That means the site of sexual reproduction in angiospermic flowers, angiospermic plants is flower. So we all know about the structure of the flower. Once again, I'll draw the diagram of the flower for our understanding. See here. A flower, I told you, it is a modified condensed shoot with limited growth. Here the stalk of the flower, so here this is the stalk of the flower, which is called pedicel. And this pedicel, the tip of the pedicel is condensed shoot or condensed branch. That means the nodes are closely compressed, and on this condensed part of the flower at the tip of the pedicel is called thalamus. Thalamus, or also called receptacle. So the swollen base of the flower or the tip of the pedicel is condensed part, which is called thalamus or receptacle. This thalamus is consisting various floral parts in different whorls. The thalamus is condensed part and it is having various floral parts in different whorls. The floral parts on the thalamus are present in different whorls. Mainly, if we discuss a typical flower, that is in bisexual flower. In a bisexual flower, there are 4 whorls present on the thalamus. In a bisexual flower, there are 4 whorls present on the thalamus. See here on the thalamus, for our convenience, I will draw this diagram from inner side to outer side. So the innermost whorl present on the thalamus is innermost whorl present on the thalamus. So fourth whorl from outside to inside, and this is called gynoecium. Gynoecium, it is having pistil or carpels, the innermost whorl gynoecium. Now look, how is this gynoecium? The gynoecium has a basal swollen portion. This is called ovary, and above the ovary a long slender part is present. This is called style, and the tip of the style is a wide part, and it is called stigma. See, ovary, style, stigma, these three parts combinedly called pistil. The three parts combinedly called pistil. Look, this gynoecium, the innermost whorl on the thalamus of a bisexual flower is gynoecium, is having pistils or carpels. The parts of the pistil, basal part ovary, and the long slender part style, and the tip of the style is called stigma. So we can say this ovary is containing ovules. Ovary has ovules, and see, in this ovary ovules are present, and these ovules are having eggs, nothing but female gametes, which fuse with the male gametes during fertilization. Okay, so this organ is a female reproductive organ present on the thalamus. So innermost whorl gynoecium, it is present on the tip of the thalamus. Which is present on the tip of the thalamus, gynoecium or pistil, which is innermost whorl present on the thalamus, gynoecium. Gynoecium is the innermost whorl. And what are the parts present in the gynoecium or pistil? What are the parts present in the pistil? The basal part is ovary, and the middle part is style, and the tip is called stigma. So what is the which is a swollen part of the pistil? Ovary is the swollen part of the pistil. Where are the ovules? Inside the ovary, ovules are present. And next, what is the middle part between stigma and ovary? Style is the middle part. What is the role of style? The style the pollen tube passes through the style. And next, tip of the style, stigma. So what do you say about the stigma? This is landing platform of pollen grains. So what is the role of the stigma here? It receives pollen grains. Stigma receive pollen grains. Stigma receive pollen grains during pollination. So we can say stigma is the landing platform of pollen grains. Okay, so this is innermost whorl present on the thalamus. Thalamus is also called receptacle. What is the condensed shoot of the flower? Thalamus is the condensed part. How many whorls present on the thalamus in a bisexual flower or a typical flower? 4 whorls. What is the innermost whorl of the flower? Gynoecium or pistil, which is the female reproductive part of the flower. Pistil is the female reproductive part of the flower. Okay, so that is the 4th whorl. And next, the 3rd whorl from outside to inside. The 3rd whorl present on the thalamus from outside to inside is androecium. So the 3rd whorl, androecium. So here in this androecium, the units present in the androecium are called stamens. So this is the stamen. We will see later the parts of the stamen. So here the third whorl is andrecium. Which is third whorl? From outside to inside. Andrecium is a third whorl. Now what is andrecium? This is male reproductive part present on the thalamus. What is andrecium? Male reproductive part present on the thalamus. What are the units of andrecium? Stamens are the units of andrecium. And next, second whorl from outside to inside, which is bright or light in color, and that is corolla. Corolla. Corolla is composed of several units called petals. Corolla composed of several units called petals. So this is corolla. Corolla. So corolla, parts of corolla are called petals, and they are light in color. In some flowers they are bright in color. And what is the main role of corolla here? They attract insects or birds, etc. during pollination. So that is the second whorl from outside to inside, and the outermost whorl from outside to inside is calyx. And these parts of calyx are called sepals. Parts of calyx are called sepals. Look, for example, these are the sepals. So these are petals and these are sepals. Now look, on the thalamus there are four whorls from outside to inside in order: calyx, corolla, andrecium, gynoecium. These are the four whorls present on the thalamus in a bisexual flower. Okay. Now these four whorls we can differentiate like this based on the importance during fertilization. These four whorls we can differentiate into two categories. Those are the first the calyx and corolla. These are called accessory organs. I'll write here accessory organs or non-essential organs. Look, these are the this is outermost whorl, calyx, and the second whorl, corolla, and third whorl, andrecium, and innermost whorl on the thalamus is gynoecium. So these four whorls, based on their importance, their outermost whorl, calyx, and corolla, both are called accessory organs or non-essential organs. See, the calyx is, what is the importance of calyx? It gives protection to the floral bud, and the corolla attract insects or birds during pollination. Andrecium, male reproductive unit. Gynoecium, female reproductive unit. Okay. Now the third whorl on the thalamus and fourth whorl on the thalamus. Third whorl, andrecium, male reproductive unit, and fourth whorl, gynoecium, having pistils. And these two whorls, gynoecium is the female reproductive organ. These two whorls are called essential organs. Essential organs of the flower present on the thalamus. Okay. Now look, for example, imagine I told you this is the flower. The thalamus is a modified condensed shoot with limited growth. For example, imagine if it is the modified shoot, the tip of the shoot is having, means this is apical region of the modified branch, and this apical region is having meristematic tissue, that meristem, apical meristem we call, and this apical meristem develop gynoecium. Okay, and below this, below the apical region, this is a lower node to the apical region, and this node is forming andrecium, nothing but stamens are present. Okay, and below that, lower to the this node, here it is developing other floral parts, the modified floral leaves, which are petals, and this lower node, again lower to this node, developing sepals. Okay, actually this is, imagine, this is the normal stem with a normal growth, but here during the development of flower, these nodes, for example, if imagine if these nodes are compressed, then those nodes come close together, means they become very close to each other, and developing a flower structure. Understand? So this is the lowermost node, means lower node, and this is above node forming. Lower node is forming, developing sepals, and above to this node, this is developing petals, and next node developing andrecium, and apical region developing gynoecium. See, at every node, meristems are present. Meristems. Okay, the apical region is having apical meristem, and these nodes also having meristems. These meristems develop different kinds of floral parts present, means these are arranged in different whorls. So at each whorl, see, different types of, means a particular organs are present, like calyx, corolla, andrecium, and gynoecium. So what I am telling, these four whorls are differentiated into two categories. One is calyx and corolla, called accessory organs or non-essential organs, because they do not involve directly in the fertilization process. And next, andrecium, male reproductive unit, gynoecium, female reproductive unit. These are directly involving in the fertilization process. That's why we call these are all essential organs. Tell me, essential organs, andrecium and gynoecium. Non-essential organs, calyx and corolla. Okay, this is these are the four whorls present on the thalamus. Okay, in this I'll give you a definition, that is embryology. So what is embryology? The branch of botany which deals with the development of gametes, fusion of gametes, and development of embryo is called embryology. So what is embryology? The branch of botany which deals with the development of gametes, fusion of gametes, and development of embryo. Is called embryology. So why I am telling the definition of embryology? Because in this sexual reproduction, we will see the formation of gametes and fusion of gametes during fertilization, and later the zygote develop into embryo. We will see all these points during sexual reproduction. That's why I am telling the definition of embryology. So tell me, what is the definition of embryology? The branch of botany which deals with the development of gametes, fusion of gametes, and development of embryo is called embryology. Okay. Now, when we see detailed study of the sexual reproduction in the flowering plants, in the beginning I told you some events. What are the events going on in the sexual reproduction? I told you 7 points. One is pre-fertilization structures and events, and pollination, pollen-pistil interaction, double fertilization, post-fertilization structures and events, apomixis, and polyembryony. Those are the for say 6 steps I told you in the beginning of this class. So let us see the first point, pre-fertilization. Pre-fertilization structures and events. So the first point now we will discuss, that is pre-fertilization structures and events. Okay, now we will see the pre-fertilization structures and events. See here, according to importance of the reproductive organs, in this pre-fertilization structures and events, we will discuss about the androecium first. Androecium. So what is androecium? This is male reproductive organ, sex organ in the flower is androecium. So here we will discuss about androecium. The units of androecium are called stamens, and in the stamen the fertile part is microsporangium. Microsporangium, and these microsporangia will develop pollen grains. So we will see all these points detailedly from the pre-fertilization structures and events. First we will see about androecium. This androecium is a male reproductive unit or male reproductive structure in the flower. Androecium contain units called stamens, and these stamens having microsporangia, and this microsporangium develop pollen grains. See, I told you there are several hormonal and structural changes takes place in the plant before it flower. Okay. Now let us see one by one the points. The first point is a stamen. So what is a stamen? Stamen. The stamen is the unit of androecium, and this stamen, see, there are two parts present in the stamen. Two parts present in the stamen, and this is the third whorl on the thalamus from outside to inside, and this stamen, I told you two parts present in the stamen, that is, see, those are the long slender part, it is filament, and the upper swollen part is anther. So tell me, how many parts are present in the stamen? There are two parts. One is filament, and the second one is anther. Filament and anther. Okay, now look, the filament. So what do you say the filament? See, this filament is long slender part, and at the tip of the filament it has an anther. See the structure of stamen, and this stamen has two parts as I told you. Number one, filament, and the second one, anther. So how is the filament? The filament is long slender part, and it has the lower end as well as upper end. At the tip of the upper end there is anther, which may be with one lobe or two lobes. And look, this lower part of the filament is called proximal end. Proximal end. And the upper part of the filament is called distal. And tell me students, the upper part of the filament is called distal end. and the lower part of the filament is called proximal end. See, where is proximal end? We have to say the location. Where is proximal end? We have to say that proximal end is attached to thalamus. Proximal end of the filament is attached to thalamus, or in some flowers this proximal end also attached to other floral parts, like petals. The proximal end of the filament, see, this is the proximal means near end, means where it near, it is near to thalamus. So near end means proximal end is attached to thalamus or other floral parts like petals, and the tip of the filament, this is called distal end. Distal means a far distance, far end. This far end having anther at its apex. So proximal end and the distal end. There are two parts we will say in the filament, proximal end, distal end. Next, coming to anther. See, the distal end of the filament is attached to anther. Now, so what is anther? This anther is the fertile part of the stamen. Anther is the fertile part of the stamen. Now, this anther is differentiated into two types based on the number of lobes. Okay, look the anther, what I told you, based on the number of lobes present in the anther, this is two types. One is bilobed anther and second one is single lobed anther. So bilobed anther, if anther has two lobes like this, if anther has two lobes, then this is one lobe and it is another lobe. If anther has two lobes, then that anther is called bilobed anther, or it is also called dithecous anther. Bilobed anther or dithecous anther. And if the anther is having only one lobe, then it is called monothecous anther. Monothecous anther. Now we have to say the examples for bilobed anther and single lobed anther, that is dithecous anther and monothecous anther. What are the examples? The known examples for dithecous anther or bilobed anther, or tell me examples. For example, from our syllabus, Solanaceae members are having bilobed anther. For example, Datura is having bilobed anther, and Fabaceae members are having bilobed anther. For example, what are the known example for the Fabaceae members? Many peas, all these are Fabaceae members having bilobed anther. So here, if there are two lobes in the anther like this, then this is called bilobed anther. Now examples for monothecous anther. For example, Malvaceae family, Malvaceae members. So in our textbook we have one example, Malvaceae member name hibiscus. Hibiscus. Hibiscus is having only one lobe in the anther, then it is called monothecous anther. So based on the number of lobes present in the anther, there are two types. One is dithecous anther and the second one is monothecous anther. Now we will see the diagram. If it is dithecous anther, how it is. Okay, look, this is the dithecous anther diagram, and here this is one lobe, it is one lobe, and it is another lobe. This is one lobe and another lobe. Both the lobes are joined by a sterile tissue called connective. Here between both lobes a sterile tissue is present, and this tissue is called connective. Connective. Tell me, connective is the sterile tissue present between two lobes of the dithecous anther or bilobed anther. Okay. And next, here these two lobes are separated by a deep longitudinal groove. It has a deep longitudinal groove. Groove is separating two lobes. Okay. Now, see, if it is having two lobes, each lobe is containing two microsporangia. If it has two lobes, each lobe has two microsporangia. Each lobe has two. See, this is one lobe and it is another lobe. In this lobe, look, here I have shown with the circles, and these circles are showing microsporangia. Microsporangium singular, microsporangia plural. So one lobe has two microsporangia at young stage, and this is another lobe having two microsporangia. So we can say one more word like this. Dithecus anther is tetrasporangiate. A dithecus anther is a tetra. Tetra means 4 microsporangia are present. That's why a dithecus anther is tetrasporangiate. If dithecus anther having tetrasporangia means 4 sporangia, then tell me the monothecus anther means what I am telling. One thecus means one lobe is having two microsporangia. Then monothecus anther is having only one lobe, single lobed. Then it is bisporangiate. Tell me students, if it is dithecus anther, it is tetrasporangiate. If it is monothecus anther, it is bisporangiate. Okay. Now what is the shape of the dithecus anther? Generally, this dithecus anther is tetragonal in shape. Tetragonal in shape. Look, if it is dithecus anther, see, there are two lobes. Each lobe is having two microsporangia at the young stage. And see, these microsporangia at maturity, they develop into pollen sacs. The microsporangia, I am showing like this. See, the microsporangia develop pollen sacs. Okay, pollen sacs means these pollen sacs produce or develop pollen grains. So bilobed anther or dithecus anther, it is tetragonal in shape. Each lobe is having two microsporangia. So two lobes are having four microsporangia. That's why we will say tetrasporangiate. If it is monothecus anther, each lobe, only one lobe is present. So that lobe is having two microsporangia. Then we call it is as bisporangiate. Okay, and then these microsporangia at young stage, those are called as microsporangia. At maturity, they form pollen sacs because they develop pollen grains in the microsporangia. We will see some of the extra points than the textbook. See here, how filament is attached to anther. See, for example, this is the anther, and this anther is attached to filament, means the distal end of the filament is attached to anther. Now, the point is here, where this filament is attached to anther, based on that, based on the attachment of filament with the anther, we can say there are four types of stamens. Number one, four types of stamens. Based on the attachment of filament with the anther, there are four types of stamens. One is basifixed. Basifixed means the filament is attached to anther at the base. Means the filament, for example, this is a Dithecus anther and this is the filament. If filament is attached to anther at its base, at the base of anther, then it is called basifixed. And next one, dorsifixed. Dorsifixed fixed. So what is the meaning? Dorsal side. If the filament is attached to anther, means this is anther, and here the filament is attached to the dorsal side of the anther. The filament is attached to the dorsal side of the anther, then it is called dorsifixed. And next, adnate. Adnate. That means here if the filament is attached to anther at if the filament is attached to the anther, how? All along the length of the anther. If filament is attached all along the length of the anther, then it is called adnate. Next, the last one, versatile. Versatile. See, here in this, the filament, the tip of the filament is pointed. See, this is anther. The tip of the filament is pointed, and this pointed tip is attached to the anther at a point, and then it swings freely in the air. Which is swinging? Anther is swinging freely in the air. See, these kind of stamens are present generally the plants which are pollinated by wind, means anemophilous or wind pollinated plants. Generally wind pollinated plants. Grasses are example for wind pollinated plants. So what I am telling, there are 4 types of stamens based on the attachment of filament with the anther: basifixed, dorsifixed. Here you write dorsifixed, D-O-R-S-I. Dorsifixed stamens, adnate and versatile. Basifixed, if the filament is attached to anther at the base, then it is basifixed. If the filament is attached to the dorsal side of the anther, dorsifixed. If the filament attached to anther all along the length of the anther, then it is called adnate. If the filament is attached to anther at a point, and not only that, this anther is swinging freely in the air, that kind of stamens are called versatile. So where we see this, especially in case of grasses, we will see these kind of stamens. So in grasses, the swinging of the anther helps to liberate their pollen grains freely in the air. So here the plants which perform pollination through wind or anemophilous pollination, where we see those plants are having these kind of stamens. Those are called versatile stamens. We look the stamens, all species are not having same kind of stamens. Species to species, the number of stamens and the length of the stamens, length and number of stamens varies from species to species. Length and number of stamens varies from species to species. Let us see some of the examples. For example, if we look Fabaceae members, what is the number of stamens in the Fabaceae members, students? There are 10 stamens present in Fabaceae members. They may be 9 plus 1, 2 bundles, or we will say a single bundle of the stamens. So in Fabaceae members we will see 10 stamens. And in case of Solanaceae, how many stamens are present? 5 stamens are present. In case of Datura, how many stamens are present? 5 stamens are present. Like that. If the number of stamens varies. So for example, in case of hibiscus, What is the number of stamens in hibiscus? We will say monoadelphous. Monoadelphous. So we will say single bundle of stamens, many, numerous. Many stamens are present in case of hibiscus in Malvaceae members. So hibiscus belongs to the family Malvaceae. In Malvaceae members there are many stamens. What I told you in the previous point, I told you hibiscus is example for monothecous anther, bisporangiate anther, but stamens number numerous, many stamens. So we can see the difference like this. The number of stamens varies from species to species. In Fabaceae, there are 10 stamens. There may be a single bundle of stamens or diadelphous, 2 bundles of stamens. Solanaceae, there are independent stamens are present, but there are the number is 5 attached to petals. Okay, so this is how they vary in number and length of the stamens also. Some examples I will tell you. In case of brassica, there are 4 stamens present in the brassica. 2 are long, 2 long stamens and 2 short stamens. In case of ocimum, there are 6 stamens arranged in 2 whorls, 2 short stamens and 4 long stamens. Okay. So here we can understand how they vary in the length and number from species to species. Okay. And now we have to understand the transverse section of the anther. So before discussing the transverse section of anther, let us revise all the points what we discussed from this point and today's topic. Okay, let us revise all the points from this session. Flowers are morphological and embryological structures. Flowers are sites of sexual reproduction. Flower is a modified and condensed shoot with limited growth. Floral parts are modified leaves. And stalk of the flower is called pedicel. Tip of the pedicel called thalamus. And on the thalamus there are 4 whorls present. See, there are 4 whorls present on the thalamus. Okay, what are those 4 whorls present on the thalamus? Calyx, corolla, andrecium, gynoecium. If the question asks you 4 whorls present on the thalamus from outside to inside, you will say calyx, the first whorl, second whorl corolla, third whorl andrecium and fourth whorl or innermost whorl gynoecium. If they ask you the question from inside to outside, what are the 4 whorls? Gynoecium, andrecium, corolla and calyx. Okay, in which flower? Bisexual flower. Okay, next. Parts of calyx are called sepals, parts of corolla are called petals and parts of andrecium, male reproductive unit. The units of andrecium called stamens. The innermost whorl, which is innermost whorl on the thalamus, gynoecium, is having pistil or carpels, right? And another point we have seen, before flowering, the plant has several hormonal and structural changes which will initiate flowering in the plant. Structural and hormonal changes takes place in the plant before flowering. These are initiating the formation of floral primordium. Primordium is the bud which initiated, means at the initial stage. Okay. Now if we look stamen has 2 parts. Those are filament and anther, already we discussed. Anther, it is 2 types, dithecous anther, monothecous anther or bilobed anther, single-lobed anther. And next, if in this anther, each lobe has 2 microsporangia. So if bilobed anther dithecous, there are 4 microsporangia. If monothecous anther, 2 microsporangia because each lobe has 2 microsporangia. And next, if we look at the shape of the dithecous anther, The shape is a tetragonal in shape, and we will say that is a tetrasporangiate. Tetrasporangiate, because the tetragonal in shape and tetrasporangiate due to the presence of 4 microsporangia. And next, those two lobes are connected by a sterile tissue called connective tissue. Okay, these are the points we revised or we discussed in this session. Now, let us see some of the questions, how the questions are asking from the discussed points. Now, we will see the questions. Okay, look the question. The stalk of the datura flower at its base is known as, stalk of the datura flower at its base is known as A. Pedicel, B. Corolla, C. Anther, D. Gynoecium. Simply we can identify the answer, because corolla, anther, gynoecium are present on the thalamus. These are the 3 whorls present on the thalamus. Now it is asking for the stalk. Stalk of the datura flower, base of the, at its base. See, at its tip, thalamus. And at its base, we can say the answer pedicel. Next. Look the question. Flowers with both androecium and gynoecium are called. If both kind of sex organs, androecium is a male reproductive sex organ and gynoecium is a female reproductive sex organ. So if both sex organs are present on the same flower, in the same flower, then the flower is called bisexual flower. And next, look this question. The male reproductive parts of flower, those are stamens. The stamens are collectively called, male reproductive parts of flower, stamens, are collectively called androecium, filament, anther, gynoecium. Look, androecium is the male stamens. Stamens are the units of androecium. So we will say this is androecium, because filament is the part of the stamen and anther is the part of the stamen. Gynoecium is a female reproductive part. So here asking that collectively called, all the stamens collectively called androecium. Look this question. Monothecous anthers are seen in. The monothecous anthers. Check the question carefully. Monothecous anthers are seen in. Options are given like this. Plants that have diadelphous androecium, plants with monadelphous androecium, plants with free stamens, plants with smooth pollen grains. Look, monothecous anthers. What is the example given previously here? Monothecous anther, I gave you example for monothecous anther, hibiscus, Malvaceae family, hibiscus. So in hibiscus, how many stamens? Numerous, many stamens are present, number of stamens are present. But all the stamens are united to form a single bundle of stamens. All stamens are united to form single bundle of stamens. That single bundle of stamens we call as a monoadelphous. Monodelphous. Look, the first option, plants that have diadelphous androecium. Diadelphous, dia means 2, di means 2. 2 bundles of stamens. Where you will see the 2 bundles of stamens? Here, Fabaceae, right? In Fabaceae, there are 2 bundles of stamens. So, it is monothecous anther, monothecous anthers. Hibiscus is example, it forms single bundle. But here, diadelphous androecium, Fabaceae members, in Fabaceae members, the bithecous anther is present, not monothecous. Okay, plants with monadelphous androecium. Monothecous anthers, hibiscus. Hibiscus stamens, monadelphous. Okay, look, this is correct option. Next, plants with free stamens. Plants with the free stamens. See here, example hibiscus, you have seen hibiscus example, and in this hibiscus, see stamens are single bundle and monadelphous, and next monothecous. But these all stamens are united to form a single bundle, but not free stamens. Next, plants with smooth pollen grains. Here in hibiscus, the pollen grains are showing several ornamentation, means several the exine is showing several structures which we call as ornamentation, but not smooth pollen grains. So according to given options, our option must be second option, that is plants with monadelphous and rhizome. Okay students, I hope you all understood this session in this class what I explained. So in this class we have seen mainly we have focused on the stamen and parts of the stamen, and next how the filament is attached to stamen, and what are the kinds of anther lobes present, and what are the examples for the anther lobes. All these points we discussed here. I hope you all understood what I told you. And next, in the next class we will discuss about transverse section of anther. Okay students, I hope you all understood my class. We will see the transverse section of anther in the next session. See you students.